This is part 7 of my CAGED for Beginners series. If you've not seen any of the other ones, I've got a link in the description below, and I've got all the others in a playlist so you can go back and watch them. So in this one, we're going to concentrate on the low E, the A and the D string. So still again, it's just three strings. So it's the E, A and D strings. And also we'll talk a bit about linking some things up with major pentatonic and looking at a couple of chord progressions. So the first one we've got is, again, so we're starting on our C chord. So the triad on the E, A and D is this shape. So it's like an E major shape. And we've got 5th, root 3rd. That's the first one. Now the next inversion starts on the root. So we get this. We've got root 3rd, 5th. Pinky on the 8th fret, our C. And then we've got ring finger on the 7th fret, which is our 3rd. And then our first finger's on the 5th, which is the 5th fret of the D string. So that's root 3, 5. Then the next inversion, we're going to slide our ring finger up to the 12th fret. And then our first finger is going to bar the A and the D strings on the 10th fret. And we get this shape. So our first finger barring here is basically when we do our C major E form bar chord. These two fingers here, they've got the back of the chord. That's what we're maintaining with our first finger here. And that's the same as this inversion we did on the A, D and G. Same notes. So we've got 5th, root 3rd, root 3rd, 5th, 3rd, 5th root, and then obviously it repeats this shape up here on the 15th fret. So that's all the inversions that you should have mapped out now. And like I said last time, it's a good idea to come across all the shapes and then go up through the chords, so you get this. So we're going to do string sets. We're going to start on the G, B and high E strings, and then we're going to go to the D, G and B, then the A, D and G, and then the E, A and D strings. That's how you want to be practicing them. You want to practice them right along. And then coming up through the chords. Remember, practice them just like this in the key of C. It just makes sense to start in C, and it's just learning the shapes. So we're just getting a hold of the shapes only. Now, what I would do after that is I would start linking up bits of the major pentatonic. So if we start on this C root, 3rd fret of the A string, and we slide into this first inversion, I'm going to come down that inversion, and that takes us into this root inversion of the C chord. It takes us right into that shape. That's our major pentatonic. Now a cool thing you can do is if you then switch this ring finger and you put your first finger on the 7th fret of the G. So you're basically leaving this finger where it is from this triad, and we're just rocking it back to here. That takes us straight to the 5 chord of C, which is our G, which is our C shape for G. And that's the chord progression for Hey Joe. That's a circle of fifths. We've got C to G, then D, just doing the exact same thing but starting on this D root. We started here for C, and then if we start here for D and do the same move, that move will take us straight to A. If you're unfamiliar with that chord progression for Hey Joe, I've got a little playlist with a couple of videos for that. You can go and have a look at that. But that uses the circle of fifths. It's going C, G, D, A, and then to E. And there's E major. Or if we come back a whole step from that root, it takes us into E minor. So again, that major pentatonic, if we grab this C on the low E, and it takes us into that first inversion that off this string. That's the same as doing this. That's like our Hendrix inversion. Same thing, exact same thing if you started on this C. That takes us right into our C form for C. And then something sticking on Hey Joe. Now you're familiar with some of these triad shapes, you can just grab, Hey Joe starts on C, so you can just grab a C triad. We're going to use the D, G and B strings, C, and we're going to go to it's round the circle of fifths, so the 5th of C is G, then the 5th of G is D, and the 5th of D is A, and the 5th of A is E. So you can start moving these triads around. D, to A. I'll do that stuff a bit slower. So C, down the major pentatonic. So that takes you into your root inversion. So you've got 3rd and 5th. Dropping that first finger back to the 7th fret of the G string takes you right into your G chord, C shape. Grab the D root to do exactly the same move. So these triads are really important for navigating around chord progressions. Again, these inversions. So that's your second inversion. It's the same as this. It's also the back of this E form bar chord, and then we've got root inversion, which is this, and we've got first inversion, which is this. remember, coming up through the chords is good practice because it maps out these chord shapes as well. And what we'll get into next time as well, or what you should start thinking about, is just take this C chord and wrapping the major scale around it in that position. And then playing the chord. You can finish on the root and then just play down the chord. That's another level of information we want across all these chord shapes. And when you're practicing the major scale, I would try and count it in 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Slowly. So that's 3rd fret, 1st fret, open. 3rd fret, 1st fret, open on the B, and then G string, 2nd fret to open, D string, 3rd, 2nd to open, then root, 3rd fret on the A string. Okay, that's that. So next time we'll go into moving around these triad shapes, more for chord progressions, and start putting together some melodies.